Alright, let's get started. So here we have Kit ready to do her first dungeon. Now I remember I went over this with you guys last time, the duty support and the duty finder. Duty support is if you want to do the dungeon with your NPC friends, and duty finder is if you want to queue up to do it with a party of other players. So just to save us the wait time, we're going to queue in with the duty support. And you'll see because I'm an Arcanist, it gives me a tank, a healer, and another DPS to join me. So they're all level 15. This dungeon is level 15. That's what level you need to be to register for it. The dungeon is going to sync me down to a level appropriate for the dungeon once I go in. So we might as well just go right into it, get started. It'll queue up, and then it'll take us into the dungeon's instance. Because I've never been in this dungeon before, it's going to show me the cutscene. Remember, I disabled viewing of cutscenes I've already seen, so any dungeon that I go into where I have seen the cutscene, it won't show. But here we are in Stasha, and here are my NPC buddies. Alright, let's go ahead and let this marauder pull these bats. Sometimes you have to inch them a little bit closer. Oh, whoops, I haven't started my carbuncle yet. Yeah, anyway. I only have single target spells in this dungeon. The only ones who will have area of effect spells are ranged attackers and tanks. Oh, I should move this on my bar. I can't use it in here, but I might as well have it in a convenient place. So for this dungeon, we'll just let the tank grab these guys, and I'm gonna go up here and read this bloody memo. And this is just important for a little later in the dungeon. So you just need this line: the captain likes his blue. So just remember the color blue. Now we're gonna go back to killing these guys. The dungeon is basically just you kill a bunch of enemies, and then you come to a boss and you kill the boss. And then you kill a bunch more enemies and you come to another boss. And usually there's 3 bosses per dungeon. Sometimes there can be more bosses than 3, but usually there's 3. This is one of the weird ones that has actually more than 3 boss fights. So I guess you could count one of them a mini boss fight. Alright, let's kill some more things. Go, Marauder! Just continue running through. So yeah, what you want to do is you want to just get close enough to the enemies that they don't aggro, but the marauder sees them and goes in for them. So in these little sections, what you want to do is you want to attack these giant clams, because they are the thing you need to kill to progress. But they close up, and when they close up they don't take any damage anymore. But now we can kill it. And we just have a couple more of these to kill. They don't take much to kill. Now we go down here and we're on these stones. Okay, and we're gonna kill this Aurelia and this fossil shell. If you go through with players, they'll move quite a bit faster and they'll gather up more things than this tank will. And so you do the dungeon a lot quicker, but then you have to wait for people to queue in and that sort of thing, so. Also, if you're like a little bit shy about your play, you can do this with the NPCs just to like learn a little bit about the game and learn a little bit about your role, and you don't need to worry so much about what other people think of you. Although people generally, there are a few jerks, but for the most part, people generally don't judge new people. Because if you're new, you don't really know what you're doing, and that's kind of universally accepted. And you can tell I'm new because I have this little sprout beside my name. So sometimes people will give you advice, sometimes they'll just be quiet. But it generally doesn't matter too much. They probably won't give you a hard time unless they're a jerk. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Clam. Closed up. Okay, kill the straight seeker. Now let's kill this fossil shell. We're making our way slowly. This is a treasure coffer over there, so that is an optional clamshell. We don't actually have to go over there. So it's just something to keep in mind as you're going along. Sometimes the paths are optional. Continue this way. Target Mr. Giant Clam. Oh, didn't quite kill him. Now he's dead. Ah, he closed! Just in time. Ah, that's so lame. Oh well. We're almost done with these guys anyway. Okay, clamshell is defeated. Let's kill these shade seekers. Last one. Okay, so remember earlier when we were checking that note and it said blue? It can say any of these three colors, but it said blue, so we're gonna go to the blue one. Basically, if you get it wrong, you have to fight another enemy. But you get it right, you get this inconspicuous switch here. But then when you touch it, oh, first boss shows up. Don't stand too close to this guy if you're ranged. If you're a melee, you can get in nice and close. It just means you're gonna have to get out when he does his move. Always stay somewhat near your healer though. So then you know where your healer is and make sure you're in range of his spells. Just in case something happens to you. And he's dead. Oh look, I leveled up. And then you can open the treasure chest and you get some, in this case we got plundered ear cuffs. What are those? Oh, those look like they're for physical DPS, so not for us. Let's continue on. But I still get them. They go directly into my armory chest because, you know, the NPCs don't need them. So this is another thing about doing this with the NPCs is you get to keep all the loot. if you're in a dungeon with other players, it would come up with a need, greed, and pass. And I highly recommend, if you can't need it, then greed it. Because you're gonna need this stuff later on when you're trying to level up your Grand Company. Eventually, you can get to a point where you can turn stuff into your Grand Company for seals. And this colored gear from the dungeons, you know, so you see how it's got a little green highlight on it? On the actual icon of the gear of the earring. That means it's a piece of gear that can be turned in for company seals. So here, this is the line that means you're going to be fighting a boss in here. So the first one was kind of a mini boss, a little bit of a warm-up. So this is the first boss. And it's nothing special. You just attack the Shadowtail Reavers until they're dead, and then you focus on Captain Madison. It's very simple. You don't have too many skills in here, so skill management is not really a big deal, but when you're first starting to play, it might seem overwhelming to you, like, oh, I have so many skills, but just you wait. Alright, so this one is, I think, a melee piece as well. It is. So we'll leave it in our armory chest, and one day when we can turn stuff in for seals, we're gonna have a bunch of gear that we can turn in. Okay. We don't need to actually kill all these guys. Now, one thing that you can do if you're coming in here by yourself is you can actually go, if you look on the map, you'll see that there's all these little paths leading out of this room. And actually, if you look on the main map here, you'll notice there's like navigator quarters, deckhand quarters, rowers quarters, and like the hole over here. Those are all optional. So most parties that you go in with, like if you go in with an actual party, they won't go into those places. So I'm not going to go into them because this character doesn't need to map out this area. But if you want to map out the full map of Sestasha, then you come in here with some NPCs and you go into those areas. So that guy just dropped a key. As we finish killing this guy, we're gonna pick up the key. It's Captain's Quarters key. Look, the Captain's Quarters are right here. Just kill these guys first. Okay, now we can talk to these Captain's Quarters, and because we have the key, we can unlock the door. And there's a guy inside. And we have to kill him. Because we cannot progress any further until we kill him. You can look over here. You see that it's got a little green dot beside it? That means the tank has full aggro. My aggro is very, very little. Which is a good thing. Unless you really want to be doing so much DPS that you rip it from the tank. Which can happen if the tank is not holding aggro properly, but it's very rare. Well, I shouldn't say it's very rare. There are players in this game, and then there are players in this game. So sometimes you'll get players who don't quite know what they're doing as a tank, and maybe they're not hitting all the enemies, and you're hitting one that they're not hitting, and you get aggro on it. Then you'll have like a little red flashing thing there instead of the green one. It can also go yellow. So we just picked up that Wave Rider gate key, so now we're going to unlock the Wave Rider gate, and then we're going to go through, and we're going to find this boss. See here, another line for a boss fight, the purple line. And it's Captain Madison again. So once again, we're going to kill his Reavers first. Okay. Now, partway through this fight, he's going to release the Scurvy Dogs. And what that means is that there will be some more enemies that come in, and there'll be Scurvy Dogs. So there we go, he releases the Scurvy Dogs. So one of them is always on you, and then there will be others that are on the other members of your party. The tank should grab hate on all of them, and then you just kill them. They're not that impressive. They don't have that many hit points, so you can just kill them. And Captain Madison will only let you take him down so far before he runs away like a little bitch, just like he did last time. And there he goes. Let's follow him. Well, some more guys we gotta kill. Oh, I gotta get a bit closer. And then the Marauder will go after them. Okay. Let's go after this one. Now we got a bowman over here. So he's not going to join the fray, so the tank runs over to him. And that's an important thing to remember. If you're a tank and you see a ranged guy hitting you, and he's not kind of grouping in with the rest of the enemies, you should probably run over to him and pull him in to the group, and then just group them together. And if running over to him is not a good idea for various reasons, like there might be something hazardous in the room or whatever, then you can run around a corner, and in order to get line of sight back on you, he will chase after you. But for now, we don't need to kill all of these guys, and they don't give us any experience, so we're just going to go fight these three that are in front of the boss room there, and then we'll go into the boss room. And this is the last boss in the dungeon, so there's going to be a cutscene before he shows up. We're almost done with these guys, so I'll save my, I'll save my summons for the boss here. So here we go, cutscene. Captain Madison just got pwned. And now we have this guy to deal with. This is a Sahagin. So in this boss fight, there's actually mechanics. What you're supposed to do is everybody except the tank. The tank will hold the boss. And everybody except the tank keeps an eye on these unnatural ripples. And when you see water coming out of them, you're supposed to go over and click on this, and it'll stop the water from coming out, and that'll stop an ad from spawning. However, we're not going to do that. We're going to just kill the boss. And if you get into Party Finder, that's what they'll do. They'll just kill the boss. And you can just straight up murder him and ignore any ads that come in. Because he will die. You might get some ads, when you're with your NPCs, you might get some ads showing up, but the tank will grab them and you can just keep killing the boss. And he'll die. So now the important thing to note here is you see the limit break bar over here? I moved it down, so it's where I expect to see it. But it's ready for us to use the limit break, so let's use the limit break where we got a couple ads in here. Oh, look at that! It destroyed them. And it did some damage to the boss. So yeah, we can just keep killing the boss. If you're playing a caster, that's the limit break you'll get, is a circle. If you're playing a ranged attacker, it'll be a line attack right from where you're standing to wherever you're facing. And if you're playing as a melee attacker, your and this concludes our first dungeon, but if you're playing as a melee attacker, your limit break is single target and it's on whatever target you are targeted to. And if you're playing as a tank, your limit break is a shield for the whole party. And if you're playing as a healer, it's heals for the whole party. You can get that limit break bar up to level 3. And a level 3 limit break is a lot more powerful and potent than a level 1 or a level 2 limit break. Also, level 3 limit break for healers raises the entire party. So if your party is wiping and you have a level 3 limit break and there's a healer up, get them to use it. And we got a plundered short bow. Not very super useful. We got a plundered cavalier's hat though, and that's actually better than what we had, so I'm gonna put it on. Nice! That plundered cavalier's hat is just dropped into our inventory for completing this dungeon. Every time you complete a story dungeon, it gives you a piece of gear that's relevant to your current class. So now we can exit the dungeon. It'll take us back to where we were, which is right here. I'm going to show you, yeah, I'll show you a couple quests so you can get a couple minions, and then we can have some cute minions. First of all, we got to do this quest. Here, talk to this person. To that person. Now we go down here, we're gonna have a fight. Fight this guy. And he's easy. We're a little over leveled for these quests, so don't hurt me. I was just smuggling stuff. Yeah. Alright. Run back up, turn this quest in, and then he's gonna have 2 more quests. And each of those quests will give you a minion. And they're kind of cute little minions, so we'll get them, and then we'll get rid of this wind-up airship that I've got going on, and we'll use one of the minions. Okay. Man's best friend, accept. And you can see here, it's going to give us a coral kitten. The other one is going to give us a wolf pup. So this one gives us the coral kitten. This one's a little bit closer. It's just over here. Okay. And then we go up here. There's a purple circle there. We're going to be fighting something. Okay, and talk to the baby coral. Mew mew. Aw, baby. Mew mew. Looks at us affectionately. Yay! So we can turn this one back in, or we can just continue on to do the other one. I'm gonna just continue on to do the other one, and I'll turn them both in at the same time. The other one's all the way up here. Up over here. So this one, you have to give the bone to him first. So first we target him, and then we just click on this little icon here on our, just beside here, it's got an item. So just you use the item on him. Yep, yep, yep. Now we have to soothe him. So /soothe while you have him targeted. Sniff, sniff. And he likes us. So now we can go back to the guy and turn both of those quests in and get both of those minions. And then I'll show you what they look like. Okay, so first, man's best friend. There's the starved pup. There he is. He's so cute. This is the pup. Yay, well done. She's willing to cooperate with authorities and help set things right. What's to do with this pup? He seems to have taken a liking to you. Perhaps it would be best if you looked after him. There's simply no room for him at headquarters. Letting him wander about on his own is out of question. Please give him a good home. Yep, he's now with us as one of our minions. Well, he will be shortly. Let's turn in the other quest. Baby coral. Hand it over. I see, so this baby coral is all that remains. It is truly a shame it came to this. Most of the jackals died fighting against corals, but it would seem you slew the pirate's last litter while saving this one. Let us at least take solace in knowing the bloodshed has ended. There's a bit of good news to be had, however. I received word not too long ago that a group of pirates was taken into custody. We heard that in the last quest. So, now what to do with this baby coral? He seems quite fond of you, almost as if you were his mother. So the yellow jackets are not fit to care for a coral, so there is one option. We're going to give him to you to take care of. I'm sure you will do what's best for him. Hooray! Complete. So we got 2 minions in our inventory here. So all you need to do is right click, use. Right click, use. And now let's go into our minions, and I'll actually see how you have this on your here. You can click on it and hold and drag, and you can put it on your bar as a button. So now there's a button that leads directly to the minion guide. So you can see all your minions. And I have a whole bunch. These are mostly just like account-wide minions that I have accumulated over the years. But the ones of interest are the new ones that we just got, which is the Coral Kitten and the Wolf Pup. So I think I'll summon the Coral Kitten. And I have a little Coral Kitten following me around. The interesting thing about these little guys too is if you have one person summon the kitten and one person summon the pup, is they kind of like fight with each other, play fight with each other a little bit, which is kind of neat. But anyways, let's return to Limsa and continue our quest line so we can get the next dungeon. So we're going to take the Ethernet, and we have to go up top. It's there. There's the aft castle. So we go over here and up this way. And we're going to talk to Bataran. He's got a cutscene for us. I'm afraid that ship has already sailed, friend. Might you be the adventurer who accepted the job of investigating Sestasha? Why, yes I am. Humph, it would seem that ship has not only sailed but now returns to harbor, none the worse for its voyage. A pity, we dragged our boots too long on this one. Ah, they wanted the job. No matter, the wheel will turn and our chance will come. You are right, of course, but there will be no rest until we have attained our goal, lofty though it may be. Not a wink of sleep, great leader. So these are all adventurers trying to become... need to make a name for themselves. Our aim, lest you wonder, is to perform such feats of heroism as will lead us to a place in the songs of every alehouse in Eorzea. We mean to write a legend which will inspire adventurers as yet unborn to follow our shining example. Do you have such a goal? Large or small, it matters not. Only have a start to reach for, and you will reach higher. Purpose can sustain you through times of hardship. Keep your eyes on the prize, and obstacles will be overcome in time. You would not think to stride into battle unclad, would you? Well, goals are as arms and armor for the spirit. I wish you fortune in your endeavors, milady. Milady? No, I'm sure that guy's not a... He didn't have a fedora at the tip. He's fine. Back then, are you? With all your limbs and a tail to tell, I'll wager. Fishbacks. And there I was thinking you'd only have to crack a pirate skull or 3. 7 hells. You turn your back for 5 bloody minutes, and the scaly bastards set up shop on your bleeding doorstep. Still, sounds like you left 'em in pieces, so I don't suppose they'll be carrying out much mischief that they was planning. Unless they was planning on feeding themselves to fauna of Sestasha, of course. Any road, it's all's well that ends well. Thanks for shedding some light on this mystery. I knew you'd get the job done, lass. You always do. Now I'll bet you're dying for a rest, but just in case you're not, I was wondering if you might be interested in taking another job. Just so happens I've had a request from our sister guild in Gridania, see? Seems the forest folk are in need of a adventurer what can get things done. For them to ask for help like this, you can bet the task won't be no skip through a sunny glade, but after the way you dealt with our fishback infestation, I doubt it's anything you can't handle. Give us a shout when you're ready, and I'll lay it out for you. Complete. Party Finder unlocked. I suppose I should explain the Party Finder a little bit since we just unlocked it. If you go to your party menu and go to Party Finder, this is what it looks like. And basically all these are all, so it's unfiltered. It's just people looking for parties for various things. And sometimes they're ads for, in this case, soft opening tonight, 10 p.m. Come for drinks, good music, and dark vibes. Dark vibes, Anyways, so they're just advertising their RP venue. So if you want to RP, you can go to these venues and hang out, and just see if that's your kind of vibe. Try talking to people and seeing if, like, talk to them while being in character, right? Yeah. Anyways, I don't really do RP that much, but for people who do, that if that's your thing, you can look for that in the party finder. It's usually under other. But mostly what you'll be using the party finder for is to do things like trials. You can occasionally get somebody wanting to do dungeon. This is a locked duty, so this is a dungeon that's way far ahead of us in the story. Or raids, also a locked duty. We do not have that raid unlocked. We do not have any raids unlocked. And you can get them to do trials and stuff like that. So when it comes time for the extreme trials, this is what you do, is you use Party Finder instead of Duty Finder. Because this way you can form a party of like-minded people who have the same goal and want to do the same thing. Anyways, that's the Party Finder, so let's continue with our questing. Ready to hear about that job then? Like I said, the request comes from our sister guild in Gridania. And that's about all I know. But whatever it is you get asked to do, I somehow doubt it'll pose any trouble for an adventurer as survived the bedlam in Sestasha. If you think you might be interested, you'll want to have words with Mother Mione, me counterpart in Gridania. Good luck, lass. Okay, so now it tells us to go to Gridania. You can click on this, it'll bring up the map, and you can click on the Black Shroud, and you can click on the Aetheryte in Gridania, which we attuned to, and I set it to my free teleport, so we're just going to teleport over there, because it's free. Alright, let's go talk to Mother Mione. That's a shortcut that I just took to get to the Adventurers Guild. Just through the bushes there. Mother Mione. Take a seat wherever you like, friend. Our waitress will come take your... Oh, not here to dine? Dare I hope you're the adventurer Battaron sent word about? You are! The matron be praised! Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Mione, and the Carline Canopy is my place. With regard to the task in question, there is a fair bit to tell. Let me know when you're ready to hear the details, and I shall brief you. Completes that quest. And I leveled up again. What level am I now? 28? Yeah! Getting up there pretty fast. So, Mother Mione is waiting to brief you on your task. Ready for that briefing? Good. Now here's the long and short of it. Beg pardons for interrupting, Mione, but our need grows ever more pressing. Have none stepped forward? And good morrow to you too, Bolord. Your need must be pressing indeed for you to honor us with a visit. The good news is, your journey hasn't been wasted. I'm pleased to report that we have a volunteer at last, and one who comes highly recommended at that. My thanks for answering the call, friend. My name is Lewin, and I lead the men and women of the God's Quiver. Now, time is of the essence, so I shall proceed directly to the heart of the matter. We wish for you to nip a potential threat to Gridania in the bud. Beneath the central shroud, there lies an underground burial site called the Tamtara Deepcroft. The place was once a Galmoran settlement, but we Gridanians have long interred our dead there. Of late, however, shadowy figures have been seen skulking about the Deepcroft, and with ever-increasing regularity. Based on the accounts of various witnesses, we suspect that these individuals belong to the Lambs of Dalamud, a doomsday cult which sprung up prior to the calamity. These zealots have proven themselves dangerous in the past, and we leave them to their own devices at our peril. Ordinarily, I would have dispatched my best men to scour the Deepcroft with orders to flush the cultists out. Alas, the calamity decimated our ranks, and the limited forces at my disposal are constantly required to keep the Ixal at bay. The birdmen have grown restless of late, and I fear a storm may be brewing. In anticipation of this, I have been compelled to spread our forces throughout the Twelveswood, lest we be taken unawares. The situation being, we must turn to others to deal with the lambs of Dalamud. Can we rely on you to undertake this task, friend? Yes. You have my gratitude. Once you've seen to your preparations, pray make your way to the Deepcroft and identify yourself to the guard posted at the entrance. He will apprise you of the latest developments. That is all. Be careful out there, you hear? May the crystal guide you and keep you. Nod, 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 nod. Everybody nod. Okay. So now if you look at the map, that's where we have to go. We haven't attuned to this aetheryte yet, so we need to go outside and just run there. Luckily for us, it's right outside the door here. I'll sprint when I get outside so I can get the full use out of it. Notice, I haven't forgotten we have a class quest that we need to do eventually. But it's not urgent right now. So now we have a map of the area. Now you can see we can run either this way or this way to get to the aetheryte. I'm going to go this way. It's a little bit simpler. You follow the path the whole way. You don't have a whole heck of a lot of enemies to deal with. This is the outside area for Gridania. It's called the Black Shroud. So it is part of what they call the Twelveswood. And yeah, it used to be a lot, like in 1.0 it was really dense and you couldn't really see much, and it was just basically pathways through the trees. But it has spread out a bit since the Calamity, in other words, since ARR took over from 1.0. So, yeah. I can sprint again. Okay, we're gonna go and get the aetherites while we're here. And there's also a blue quest that I want to pick up because it's gonna be for the residential district in Gridania, so that we can teleport there from the aetherite, just in case we need to. It's just good to get these quests done. Minor threat. Interesting names people come up with, huh? Alright, so let's talk to Margaret. Has information that may interest wealthy adventurers. Alright, it's about purchasing land in the area, so let's attune to this aetherite. And then we'll continue on our way. I'll open up the map for you guys so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going down here. Oop. Into the fence, apparently. And we're just going down the path. And I can sprint again. Now that to the right is the way we want to go, but we're going to go over here first so that we can turn in that quest. Good morrow to you, miss. What can, you wish to know about the auctions? Very well, allow me to explain. So they're just basically setting up plots for adventurers that they can buy. Just like in, Limsa. Okay, so then we go to this ferry skipper. And he's going to the lavender beds. We want to go to specific ward. We'll just pick the first ward. As you can see, most of these are open plots. Some of them are taken now by free companies. You can tell they're taken by free companies because of these little triangular brackets on either side of them, of the name. If you look in higher ranking ones, you see those no triangular brackets. This is actually the name of a character, so these characters own these plots. Anyways, we'll just go into the first ward. So these are the lavender beds. This is Gridania's residential area. It normally would play the housing music, but I have my settings set up so that it plays just the regular town music, because I find the housing area music to be a little bit annoying after you've heard it a zillion times. That's all. Anyways, we're here. Now we talk to this serpent recruit. Okay, the plots are reserved for adventurers. Gridanians cannot buy them. Let me go back to the ferry skipper and leave the residential district. So now we turn in that quest back up top, but before that we're going to go to our destination for the other quest, the Tamtara Deepcroft. So that is just over here. And we have to go down into the caves. We're now so high level that these level 12 guys won't aggro us. They only aggro to you if you are within 10 levels of them. And once you get to the point where you're within 10 levels of them, they don't aggro from very far away. You have to be quite close. So you can see there's some fellows up here. These are the guys we saw before, those adventurers who are trying to make a name for themselves. So you can talk to them. Meet again. I cannot say I'm surprised to see you here. You took the prize back in Limsa, but this time we will give you better sport, or I am no true adventurer. Gods, I hate mausoleums. It's not right to disturb the dead in their slumber. Think of our goal, sister. One day our adventures will be the stuff of song, and it will all be worth it. You can talk to these guys over here. Pent, pent. Childish curiosity prompted me to commit the most elementary of blunders. Were it not for the fruit that Alian found, my adventures may well have ended in this forbidding place. Always look before you leap. In my haste, this most fundamental rule of adventuring slipped my mind. I do believe I shall rest here a while. I shudder to think what might have happened to Isildur had I not thought to pick the fruit that I stumbled across on the way here. Sometimes he has too much vigor for his own good. Age is supposed to mellow us, but if anything it has made him more impetuous. I understand the desire to make use of the time left to him, but one misstep and there won't be any. So these are some guys who have been doing these dungeons. If you come here and you're within 10 levels of these guys, they can be a little tricky to avoid, but you just kind of go around them like that. And over here. And they're really easy to kill if you do happen to aggro one, so you can just kill them. Let's talk to this guy. You're Kit Swan, I take it. Thanks for helping us out, friend. No doubt the Bowlord has already informed you, but your task is to enter the Deepcroft and purge it of the Lambs of Dalamud. In case you're unfamiliar with them, the cult emerged shortly before the Calamity put an end to the 6th Astral Era. I remember I talked a little bit about the Astral and the Umbral eras. So we're in the 7th Umbral Era right now. The Umbral Era always comes before the Astral Era, and the Umbral Era is right after a Calamity happens. The cultists took the Lesser Moon Dalamud for their god, believing that it would deliver them from devastation. And so they were rather disappointed when Dalamud exploded into 1,000 flaming pieces before it could complete its descent. Now, having seen their god turn to ash, one would think the cultists might have been moved to question their faith. On the contrary, it seemed to only serve to stoke the flames of their fanaticism. The Lambs of Dalamud are convinced that heretics, that is to say, everyone but them, interfered with the coming of their Lord and Savior, and that it's now their sacred duty to avenge him. Whatever it is they're doing in the Deepcroft, you may be sure that it's no good will come of it. For the sake of Gridania and Eorzea at large, put an end to their madness. Tamtara Deepcraft, now accessible. So we can now queue up for that. But before we do, I'm just going to run back up and turn that quest into that Margaret person. So again, we can queue up to do this with other players, or we can queue up to do it with NPCs. And with NPCs, we're always going to get an instant queue, because you don't really have to wait for NPCs to enter the queue. Whereas with other players, you have to wait for other players to be queuing up for either a leveling roulette or the dungeon itself. Now, leveling roulette, which I should explain to you, we have it right here. So these are the duty roulettes. So what they're for is to get you experience and or endgame stuff. So if you do them while you're still leveling, so when you're not max level, what you'll get is experience and gil. And if you're the adventurer in need, you get a little bit more of those things, a little bit extra. So in this case, the adventurer in need is tank. So if you queued up as a tank for a leveling roulette and you got in, then at the very end of it, you'd get a little extra experience and gil, on top of what everybody else gets. But yeah, with the leveling, it's just random. It'll give you a random dungeon from the in-between levels. So levels from 1 to 49, levels from 51 to 59, from 61 to 69, and from 71 to 79, and 81 to 89, depending on how high level you are, depending on how many of those dungeons you've unlocked, that sort of thing. It'll give you a random one. And you just run it. You run it with other players and you get experience and a gil. In this case, we don't really need those things, so we're not going to bother doing the leveling roulette. Good to see you again, friend. Adventures only. She's so disappointed. One day my dreams will come to fruition. Alright. We can now teleport to the residential district. Okay, so let's go ahead and queue into this dungeon. And we're just going to use the duty support. Take these guys with us. And register for duty. Off we go. The Tamtara Deepcraft. And here we are. Group of adventurers. Alright, let's move right along. Oh, the Thaumaturge has a bad feeling about all this. It's fine, Mr. Thaumaturge. This is a low-level dungeon. We're not gonna run into anything problematic, don't worry. Just kill things. And then we'll fight some bosses, and then we'll kill some more things, and then we'll fight another boss, and then we'll kill some more things, and you know how it goes. Okay. Let's continue on. You could see there that that guy was aggro to me for a little while. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it had the red flashing there. It's just because I was stepped forward, or rather I'm the only person in here, so until the tank actually hits it, the first person it's going to kind of zoom on is me. Normally it'll aggro to the first person that's nearby. See? Red flashing. Green. Tank has hit them now. we continue down. This is just a tunnel. So when you get here, then there's a little bit of a break in the tunnel. If you open up your map, you can see that this is a dead end, so it's probably just going to have a chest, which you can skip, or you can go and get the chest if you want some extra pieces of gear. But we're just going to continue through the dungeon. So we can fit a few more things into the stream. More fellows to kill. There's a guy that's aggroed on me right now. Oh, tank's got him. Tank's attacking that one. So just go ahead and attack that one. There we go. And see that purple line? We're coming up on the boss battle. Here it is. It's these guys. Let's attack that grave digger. These guys, it doesn't really matter what order you kill them in. You can kill them in whatever order you wish. The NPCs seem to go after the imps first and then the priest. But after you kill all the enemies, then this void counter, soul counter will spawn, and tank just needs to grab him and then you just kill him. But if you are a healer, you might want to watch your tank's health, because this guy does hit a little bit harder than the other enemies. And if you're a tank, just, yeah, keep an eye on your own health, use your defensive cooldowns, get out of the way of things like that. Try not to point him towards the rest of us. You know, usual tank stuff. This tank is pointing him towards the rest of us, so he's a bit of a noob. That's okay though. It's forgivable. Okay, so now what you do is you take your treasure. I got some Acolyte's half gloves, which I don't need because I have the new gear, the brand new gear. But that's okay because I can turn them in for seals later, much later. Alright. Oh, I got a little too close, so I got aggro on these guys. But that's okay, tank grabbed them. Yeah, you'll notice you don't get experience for any of the random mobs in the dungeon, but you will get experience for the bosses. That was done on purpose because what was happening was there were a couple dungeons where people were they would enter the dungeon and then they would basically just kill a bunch of the enemies, get all the experience from that, and then leave the dungeon and come back in and kill all the enemies at the beginning, get all the experience from that, and that was apparently the most efficient way to level for a while because there were a lot of enemies at the beginning of that dungeon. You could just gather them all up and kill them. And so they removed the experience that the regular enemies give you to prevent people from doing that, because people were doing it in the duty finder, and that was interfering with people who actually wanted to complete the dungeon. So, yeah, you can't do that anymore because regular enemies in dungeons do not give experience. So your goal is to kill as few of them as possible. But usually you end up having to kill all of them in these low-level dungeons and stuff. Or in most dungeons, actually. Because you have to get through to the next part, and they aggro, and they don't de-aggro. You have to kill them. Sometimes you have to kill them to unlock doors to go forward too, so. I'm just gonna grab this treasure coffer. Oh, apparently I already have one of those, so I did not get it. It went to the ground. Boss fight again! See, you can't move forward until you kill these guys. I accidentally got too close. That's okay, the tank has moved now. Okay, so same thing as before. The soul counter spawns, the tank takes him, and we kill him. He's got something on him called End Thunder, which means that every time he attacks, he does a little bit of lightning damage as well. That's something that used to be a spell that players could put on themselves, but you can't anymore, because it's been taken out of the game. But sometimes the enemies still have it for lower levels. Casting End Thunder, putting End Thunder on himself again. You can interrupt it, but it's hard to interrupt because it goes by really fast. But if you are a tank or a ranged DPS and you have the little move that's got the 3 dots on it, that means you can interrupt. Okay, Foe Striker's Mitts. Those are also not for us. Take the Cultist Orb. It's removing those little lights. So you can see there's 2 more Cultist Orbs down there. So we just have to go through and get to those. And then we will fight the final boss after that. Fighting enemies in dungeons. So mindless. Let's continue. Onward we go. Guys to kill. Once again, if you're with other players, you can go more efficiently, or depending on your party, if you get a whole bunch of new people who don't know what they're doing, it can actually take longer. It really just depends on the situation. So when you go into the duty finder, you're kind of rolling coin toss, and it's just a little bit of like, what do you get? But if you get nice new people and you help them, and their experience is good afterwards, then you feel really good about yourself. So it can actually be kind of nice. But every now and then you get jerks, and that's no fun. You're gonna die when you break it. That's right. these guys now. What are you doing? Get him! NPC's broken for a second there. Right, onward. So here is the boss line. However, you can't get in there. So we're gonna have to kill these guys. You can also see your aggro level over here, by the way, in the party list. So you can see that the tank has full aggro because his aggro bar is filled up. And when you click to a different guy, you can see again the tank has full aggro. When the guy dies, or when you detarget him, then the aggro bars go away. So this sealed barrier, we can't get through it. So all we can do is move forward, which is over this way. Oh, look at this! A cultist rosary. Maybe that will get us through. I'm gonna actually try to kill this guy, because he's a little bit away from the group. Try to kill the other caster. Okay, this says the ethereal field protecting the cultist rosary has been weakened. So now we can take this cultist rosary and head back to where the barrier was. And now we should be able to unlock the sealed barrier. Use the cultist rosary. Yes. Okay, and these guys immediately aggro me, so you should usually let the tank do that. But that's okay, because this tank is real fast to grab aggro from me. Now you just want to kill all these guys, and once they're all dead, we'll once again get one of those soul counters. Those are void scent, and void scent just come from the void. Like I've talked about before, these grave diggers are also void scent, which means these guys are summoning things from the void, which is kind of not great. You gotta be really careful when you summon things from the void, because they can turn on you, because all they care about is getting living ether. And that is basically your life. So they will kill you. Unless you can make a pact with them and they agree not to kill you, but they might turn on you, so you gotta be careful about that. You gotta be sure about your ability to control them. So void scent are dangerous, but you'll encounter them all throughout the world, because people keep summoning them anyways. So we gotta grab these cultist orbs. I'm just gonna grab the treasure coffer, some plundered trousers. We don't need them, those are tanks. And now we have the cutscene. Bridge forms. What's this? Who summons me from the void to reside within this crude vessel? Oh, apparently they summoned him, and now we have to defeat him. You notice I have a full limit break bar here. I just got Mapping the Realm Temtara Deepcroft, so that's nice. And continue with this. So this guy's a little interesting. You can attack him right now. When he summons an ad that's tethered to him, then you have to kill the ad. Because he's invulnerable while the ad is out. So you want to kill the ad as quickly as possible. And then go back to killing him. And that's basically how this fight works. I'm going to save the limit break for a little while. Because I'm a caster, so it is a... Oh. It's a multi-target limit break, so we'll cast it now. There we go. You don't want to be standing in that. That will give you paralyzed, which means sometimes your abilities won't... Oh. Let's target these guys. Sometimes your abilities won't go off if you're paralyzed. So that's just really annoying to have to deal with, so don't get caught in that. Okay, and now we can kill all these ads, or we can just kill him. Either way, it's probably easier to kill the ads so that they don't overwhelm the tank, so that he doesn't summon more. As you can see, they fall down pretty fast. Then you can go back to killing the boss. I could have saved the limit break for those ads, but it doesn't really matter. And that's that. And I just hit level 30 for completing that dungeon, because I got this through the gate achievement. Alright, we did it! Yay! Okay. Oh, Plundered Grimoire! That's probably better than what I'm using. Oh, it's not. No, I'm using a better one. That's fine. It was worth checking. It's just because I've been doing my higher level class quests, right? So I got stuff that's better. Let's leave this duty. Temtara Deepcroft has ended. And since we're going back to Gridania, we'll just teleport back because it's free. Look at this! I have some gil. I have 1,000,000 gil. I just got that from registering on the new server and leveling up to level 30. The game just gave me 1,000,000 gil. So now I have a little bit of money to spend. That's kind of nice. And when we get going with Glamour, I will show you some pieces that you can get. But first, let's turn this quest in and get her next quest. Welcome back, Kit. I'm reliably informed your foray into the Deepcroft was a success. Not that I expect anything less. Badaron's ringing endorsement left me in little doubt as to your capabilities. Even so, you are to be commended. Beau Lord Lewin asked me to pass on his thanks. I must say, it's something of a relief to be able to call on such a capable adventurer. Sadly, death has become an ever more common occurrence within our fraternity of late. Times being what they are, the guild is constantly inundated with petitions, and we are hard-pressed to find enough hands to deal with them all. While this means no shortage of work for able souls such as yourself, it also provides ample opportunities for the inexperienced to overreach themselves, with predictable consequences. As if to illustrate the point... Avir's gone, and it's all your fault. If it hadn't taken you an age to heal him, he would still be alive. But I tried. He bolted out of range before I could finish the spell. He shouldn't have been so hard-pressed in the first place. We should have done more to lighten his burden. Bah, to the hells with this pathetic excuse for a party. I'm leaving, and it'd be too soon if I never see your faces again. Goodbye and good riddance. I'm leaving as well. I doubt this comes as any surprise, but I never liked you. I only suffered you for your healing, but you couldn't even do that one thing right. Cruel though this may sound, you brought this upon yourself. Oh, and by the way of some parting advice, get rid of Avir's head. Bury it, cremate it, do whatever the hells you like with it, but for God's sake, stop carrying it around. It's just, get rid of it, alright? Eee. Yeah, don't carry his head around. Wait, don't leave me alone, please. Aw, poor Etta. I'm so sorry, Avir. Please forgive me. Scenes like this have become all too common. That makes a dozen times in half as many days. Now you see why I'm grateful for adventurers of your experience. I can send women like you on a mission without worrying you might not return. Well, not so much at any rate. Speaking of missions, I would entrust you with another. About a bell ago, I received a message from my counterpart in Ul'dah. She seeks the service of a reliable adventurer, and you are nothing if not reliable. If you think you might be interested in the task, say the word, and I will be glad to share the details with you. Nod. Nah-huh, nah-huh, nah-huh. I take all the tasks. Alright, let's pick up this new task. So you're not averse to taking a little trip? Wonderful. As I mentioned earlier, the request comes to us from the Adventurers Guild in Ul'dah. Once you arrive, seek out Momodi, the proprietress of the Quicksand. Think of her as the Sultaness version of myself. Chances are she'll send you into the middle of danger, but I have every confidence that you will pull through unscathed. Now off you go, Kit, and good luck. So now we have to go to Ul'dah. I'm just gonna take the airship because I'm cheap, even though I have 1,000,000 gil now. I'm still gonna take the airship, which is just downstairs, so that I can just run down there. Airship ticketer. Passage to Ul'dah. 120 gil. Thank you. And here we are in Ul'dah. Let's use the lift attendant. Take us down to the Ruby Road Exchange. Yes, please. Right, talk to Momodi. Welcome to the Quicksand, friend. I'm a tad busy right now, if you wouldn't mind showing yourself to... Judging by your determined expression, I take it you ain't here for ale. Are you called Kit Swan by any chance? Mion sent word that you'd be reporting for duty. She also made a point of calling you the adventurer of the moment. That ain't no small praise coming from her. But you didn't get all the way here to listen to my prattle. Doubtless you're eager to get started, so let's talk business, shall we? Let's talk business. Momodi is waiting to brief you on your task. The petitioner ought to be arriving any moment now. God's almighty, another second under that sun and I would have been set afire. A tankard of ale, if you would be so kind. Excellent timing, Papa Shan. Just so happens the adventurer who'll be handling your petition is here. So this winsome lass is the much-lauded adventurer, is she? Marvelous, marvelous. Winsome, A pleasure to make your acquaintance, milady. I am Papa Shan, formerly of the Sultan Sworn. I thank you for agreeing to lend us your aid. Mayhap you'd like to apprise Kit of her mission? Yes, of course. The petition in question was submitted by an acquaintance of mine at Amgina and Sons Mineral Concern. It relates to an unfortunate development at Copperbell Mines. To be plain, giants have seized control of the place. These giants are of the clan known as the FFXIV, fearsome creatures who were sealed within the deepest depths of the mines during the bygone Thorn dynasty. Alas, it seems they have managed to break through the layer of rock which served to imprison them, and now prowl the tunnels where the miners ply their trade. The creatures are justifiably angry about their treatment at the hands of our ancestors, and their presence has forced the suspension of all mining activities on the site. It's no wonder they're angry. Didn't the Thorn dynasty come to an end over 300 years ago? You know your history well, milady. The people of that age used the Hetoshires to work their mines. By way of enchanted helms, they were able to bind the ferocious creatures to their will. But, as is the way in such tales, these enchantments eventually failed, and the slaves rose up against their masters. In a desperate bid to contain the unbridled fury of the Hetoshires, our ancestors induced the collapse of the mine's lowermost levels. So it was that the great giant revolt was ended, buried beneath 100,000 tons of rock. Well, now that's got me thinking. I seem to recall there being an article about Copperbell in the Mithril Eye a fortnight or so ago. It said the mines were being reopened so as to meet the rising demand for builder materials. Like as not, our boys dug a bit too deep and freed the giants. Gods, to think the poor creatures are still alive and kicking after 3 centuries. That's a long time to nurse a grudge. They must be seething. Indeed, and that makes them a danger to us all. There will be no mining at Copperbell so long as they remain. For the sake of both peace and prosperity, they must be subdued. This is the task we would have you undertake. I'll not deny the mission will be rife with danger, but our need is great, and so I beg you, put an end to this sorry business. Nod, nod, nod. God bless you. I feared you might have reservations, but I assure you it is for the best. In case you don't know, Copperbell mines are in western Thanalan. Do take care, you hear? And one last thing before you depart. An employee of Imagina and Sons is presently at the quicksand. The fellow's name is Painted Mesa, and he knows Copperbell mines well. It may behoove you to seek his counsel. Alright, Painted Mesa is right behind us. Looking for Painted Mesa? You found him. So you're the adventurer who's volunteered to deal with our mess down in Copperbell, are you? You've got guts, miss. I just hope you've got the skills to go with them, because things ain't pretty down there. The Hetoshires have left the place in a right state, and nary a week after mining resumed. I don't know if you know this, but Copperbell was old when the second old dynasty was still young, and it was abandoned centuries ago if it hadn't been for the storage of materials needed for the rebuilding effort. The concern would never have thought to reopen it. We know full well about the giants beforehand, but the project went ahead anyway. I mean, nothing could possibly survive being buried under a mountain's worth of rock for 3 centuries, right? Wrong. Our miners dug up more than they bargained for. One swing of the pickaxe too many, and they found themselves in a company of giants. Unless we can subdue them, the nation's glorious recovery will grind to a halt for want of aught to build with. The stone torches are keeping watch over the entrance in case the giants fancy some sunlight and fresh air. One of them will be able to show you the way in. The hope of the nation's resting on you, friend. Best of luck. I feel a little bad about killing these giants. Oh well, gotta be done. Okay, so now we're heading out to western Thanalan, which if you see here, from Oldas, the steps of, this is the gate of the Sultana. So we have to go out the gate of the Sultana. This is the wrong door to go out of. Quicksand. We're going to go out this door. Okay, and so we're going to choose the gate of the Sultana to go to western Thanalan. Go. And just map the realm. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to pick up this blue quest for the residential district for Ulda. And it's just over here. And then our destination is over here. Where the heart is. Goblet. Again, somebody wants us to check and see if they can buy a house there. Again, they're going to be disappointed. So we just got to go up a little bit more. And then it'll be to the right. So it's not far. Alright. Into the goblet we go. Go to specified ward and we'll just select ward number 1 as usual. And this is the goblet. Ulda's residential district. There's a few houses in here, but it's mostly open plots. This is still a fairly new server. Greetings, adventurer. Welcome to the goblet. An Uldan woman wanted to learn more. Oh dear. Plots are reserved for adventurers. Poor Ulda woman. She can't have one. Well, let's go tell her the bad news. What do you mean it's for exclusively for adventurers? What about my needs? Well. Such is life. Okay, Goblet Ethernet now accessible. And let's continue on. We want to go to Horizon, so we're going this way. Gotta go across the bridge. And just follow the path until you get to Horizon. Okay. So, we're gonna grab Copperwell Mines. Access to the dungeon. And then we're gonna sidetrack a little bit to unlock Glamour and dyeing. Dyeing, by which I mean dyeing your clothes a different color, not dyeing. We know how to dye. We don't want to do it. It'll probably happen when we get to later levels. But it hasn't happened yet. First, let's unlock Copperbell. There's been an incident inside Copperbell Mines. We are here to ensure that its effects are contained, but for your own safety, I suggest you stay well away from here. What? You're the adventurer who's volunteered to quell the heterochaires? I didn't think that Papashan would be able to find someone so quickly, if at all. The giants are content to wreak havoc inside the mines for now, but it's only a matter of time before they think to come outside. The sooner you are to see to them, the better. Make ready as best you can and enter at will. Copperbell Mines, now accessible. Alright, so now we have access to the dungeon. We can access it from anywhere, so we're just gonna run and pick up Glamour. The true endgame. Glamour. Gotta make your character look pretty. I have 1,000,000 gil, so I can buy some glamour sets. That will be very handy to make my character look awesome. also going to need to buy some more glamour prisms. Because this quest will give you 10 glamour prisms, which means you can put 10 items into the glamour dresser. But I'm going to need more than that if I'm going to buy like a bunch of sets with my million gil here. We'll see what I can afford. I might just buy a few cheap things because I do kind of want to note the new player experience. And now if you join on my server, I would definitely help you with glamour. I can make a lot of it and I can afford to buy some of it for you. And so if you wanted to join and you wanted to join like a free company, group of friends, just to hang out with, you could join our group. We're on Aether is the data center and Siren is the server. So if you can create a character on that server and contact me, either through Twitter, direct message, or just send me a tell in-game. My name is Bryn Legao, just like my Twitch handle, Bryn space Legao. So Bryn is my first name. And yeah, if you can get a hold of me in the game or on Twitter, I would definitely help you out. And if you need free company, we have a free company. So, this is the lady we gotta talk to unlock glamour and dyes. Color your world and if I had a glamour. Those are the two quests. So we're just gonna pick them up one by one. And so, first of all, we need some orange juice. And second of all, we need to speak with the person in the bar. So first, let's get some orange juice. You can just buy it from this merchant right over here. You just purchase items and then scroll through until you find orange juice. There it is right there. 7 gil. It's not difficult to get. I'm sure you will have 7 gil at this point. And then you just talk to her again. Finish up the orange juice quest. That's a relief. I can teach you how to bring colors into your life. Listen well. Are handy items called colorants, which allow folks to dye their outfits a veritable rainbow of colors. These colorants are so simple to use, adventurers will have no excuse to be fashion unconscious. So dyeing will not affect your properties of your gear, it just makes it look different. There's some gear that can't be dyed, but a lot of it can be, so. And then she gives you some free dyes. You get rose pink, bone white, and ice blue dye, plus the ability to dye. And that's that quest. So now gear dyeing is available, so let's talk to this lady. Give her an elm and she'll take a melon. That's fine. We're done with this quest, so we're gonna go back and turn it in. How's that drink coming along? Here it be. Delicious! Nothing better on a hot day. Alright, you'd look a lot less drab if you knew how to apply glamours. What's a glamour? They use glamour prism as a catalyst to project the image of one item onto another. It's just an illusion, mind, but very convincing. This means the original object stays essentially the same, it just takes on a new appearance. If you fancy a change, you don't have to stick with the same glamour. Just apply another one on top, or use a glamour dispeller to return the object to normal. Why sacrifice style for such humdrum trifles as durability or protection from bodily harm? Limitless possibilities for self-expression are just a couple of glamours away. Go ahead, give it a try, and do make it quick, dear, for my sake. I'm finding your uninspired desire more and more offensive with each passing moment. Oh, that's nice. So what this is going to give us is it's going to give us a green beret. So if we try it on, that's what it looks like. It's a headpiece. It's okay, I guess. You can dye it. You can go into dye preview, which I'm going to scale again to 200% so we can see it. I can show all my equipped gear. I can try out this new dyes. See, we have rose pink, ooh, ice blue, and bone white. Ooh. we can use those colors. But you can check out what all the other colors look like, and if you want to get them, you can buy them. I'll show you where to buy some of the cheaper dyes. You can just buy it from a vendor. And the other ones you have to use the market board, unfortunately, unless you have access to either craft them yourself or get them from the beast tribe who sells them. So, complete that quest. She gave us a green beret. She gave us a couple other things. The ability to glamour. And she gave us glamour dressers, access to glamour dressers in in-rooms. So this is the most effective way to glamour. You can use the dressers to transform items into glamours and create ensembles for quick and easy use. And she gave us 12 glamour prisms, which is really nice of her. Now, every time you put something in the glamour dresser, it costs you a glamour prism. You can also glam right onto your gear. You can right click, go cast glamour, select whatever you want to glam on top of it, and it'll glam it. I don't recommend wasting your glamour prisms that way though. You're probably gonna get more use out of them if you put your glam items into the glamour dresser. And I'll show you how to do that after we tackle this dungeon. Or more likely, in the next stream. So first of all, we're going to tackle this dungeon. So I'm just going to go into duty support, select Copper Bell Mines, and let's register for duty. Get this dungeon out of the way. Here we are in Copper Bell Mines. This one's a little different from your other dungeons. It's gonna have some different mechanics. But some of the bosses have like some interesting things that you need to do. Some interesting ways of putting stuff down on the ground that you need to avoid. You'll see when we get to them. The regular dungeon mobs are still pretty much the same. So you can just kill them as usual. Okay, this guy dropped a tiny key, so let's pick it up. And here's the sealed blasting door. So let's go into it with the tiny key. There's an elevator. So you have to actually use the elevator. So once you wait until your team gets on the elevator, or they just stay there, I guess. Okay, that's fine. I'll just use the elevator by myself. They'll show up, I'm sure. So you just wait and it'll open on the opposite side here. And there's my buddies. Okay, let's go attack these guys. Get them. Casted haste on itself. That's not going to save it though. No, it'll be dead. Now we continue on. So we don't have to go to the right because it's just an extra optional treasure coffer. We can just continue on forward. Further into the dungeon. Dungeony dungeon. Oh, what's this? Where did God come from? He broke out of the wall. Yeah, that shit happens sometimes. Alright, let's continue along. Kill this lightning sprite. Okay. Moving right along. Sorry, I'm skipping all the optional paths just because I know exactly where they are and I can just avoid them. But if you want to explore them when you're doing your own runs, I mean, if you're with the duty support, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, if you're with a party, you probably just want to follow along behind the party. But you can see on the map where they are. Like, you can see that these are optionals. Moving right along. Let us continue. You see this fire sand on the ground? Anytime you see stuff lying around on the ground like this, it's usually a good idea to pick it up. Sometimes it's just pieces of lore that are lying on the ground and you just read them, but a lot of the time you have to actually collect the fire sand. This sort of thing. So you have to put the 12 ounces of fire sand into the powder chamber. Once that's done, then you have to use the blasting device. And it blows a hole in the wall, and here is the next boss. See? Boss. Make ready, everyone, says the tank. Alright. Let's do this. See that? That means he's getting hit by a tank buster. That's what we call really heavy hitting moves. All of those. I knew they weren't going to go off for a while, so that's why I stayed casted for a little bit. I was just ready for it. He's gonna throw something at somebody. It was at the healer. I just moved away from him just in case that there was a splashback from that. Okay, he's doing the same thing again, but this time I can move around because you see, I had my instant casts up, so I can move on while throwing those instant casts out. But now I have to stand still and cast. Of course. He's catapulting again. He can be the healer. Yep, it was the healer. And the tank's getting hit with a heavy move again. Yeah, you'll see that in later dungeons. In the early dungeons, you don't see it so much, but this dungeon got reworked a little while ago, so it has some of the indicators that you see in later dungeons. Oh, and it just hit level 31. Pick up the tiny key. Open the treasure coffer. Oh, apparently I already had that. Wah wah. Open the sealed blasting door, and then we continue onwards. This is just going to lead us to another elevator here. So these guys are not going to come with me, because apparently that's how they work in the elevator. And again, it'll open on the opposite side. Hey buddies! So we have more powder chamber and a blasting device. So we have to go after some enemies to get those things. So let's do that. So that guy just dropped a 6-ounce thing of fire sand, so I'm just gonna kind of get in position to grab it while still attacking the enemies. Pick up this fire sand. And we're gonna need 12 ounces though, so we're gonna need another 6-ounce pinch. So it's probably gonna come from this blasting cap here. Attacking the apparent soul first. Oh, there's a treasure coffer over there too. Might as well grab it since we're going to be killing these enemies. Oh, and grab the fire sand. And grab the chest. Ah, we already possess those. It's too bad. Oh well. So, 12 ounces. And then blow up the wall. Let's continue onwards. Oh, fire sand. We should probably pick that up. And a slime. By the 12, what is that? Well, it is Icarus Ire. Get out of the ground AoEs. Again, another heavy hitting tank hitter. That's just for like, so you tank, as a tank you would use your defensive cooldowns. As a healer you want to be ready. Okay, get away from those, because those are going to have giant AoEs around them. So yep, as I said. Anyways, yeah, if you see that move being done on a tank as a healer, you want to be ready to heal in right after. So healers can also do damage, so this healer is doing damage to the enemy here. But if the tank needs healing, or if anybody needs healing for that matter, he's got to be ready to actually heal. Okay, again, get away from those, because they're going to have giant AoEs around them. These guys don't do anything while they're avoiding mechanics, by the way. They just kind of sit there. So that's why this guy is taking a little bit longer than if we were doing it with players, because they're doing what I'm doing and it's still damaging as you avoid the mechanics. Okay, again. And now we can actually kill this guy. He's dead. Alright, something that I can actually take. There's the fire sand over here. Plug it into the powder chamber. And use the blasting device. And the wall's blown up. We can continue onwards. So through here, there's a couple different ways you can go. The tank immediately pulled these guys, so we're gonna go this way. Stand in there. Okay, and then so we can go right through this waterfall here. Kill these guys. And then we can go right up here and kill these guys. And just ignore those guys over there. Oh, another guy just bashed through the wall. He's on me. You can see this from the... But the tank will pick him up. There he goes. So now we just go up here. There should be some... Oh, there's no guys here anymore. I guess they took them out. Just grab this treasure coffer. Apparently we already have an acolyte skirt. It's giving us all the gear we already have. Oh, fair. But down here is the boss. Slaves no more! Free! Giant. Masters must pay. Masters must die. Never again. Never. Last, the leader shows himself. Okay, so this is the leader. There we go. Okay, so this is Donut, which means that the safe spot is underneath him, and the rest of the room is unsafe. That's the opposite of a donut. That's a get out of there. Luckily I'm a caster. I can continue casting on him. Not like this thaumaturge, though. Noob. Donut again. Luckily, it's got a long cooldown on it. Tank Buster. Okay, I know I've got time because I can see the cooldown on that thing, so I was able to finish my cast before moving. Again. And we have a limit break, so I'm gonna go get out because I know he's gonna do his other move and I'm gonna use the limit break. There we go. Did a little bit extra damage to him. He's gonna die. And I leveled up to 32. Hooray! We did it! Yay! Okay. There's a treasure coffer over here. Oh, I already have a plundered grimoire. God. Couldn't give me something different, huh? Oh well. Let's leave the duty. We finished Copperbell Mines. So we need to return to Ul'dah. I'm just going to teleport to Ul'dah. That's why I set it to a favorite. It's only 81 gil, so we're just going to go back there. Not going to use one of my 50 teleport for free tickets, which I got from loyalty rewards and all that. Okay, so we go back to the Adventurers Guild. And we can talk to Painted Mesa, but, you will see when you see him. Oh, look at that. Painted Mesa has the instance battle symbol around him. So when we talk to him, we're going to have to fight an instance battle. So what I'm going to do instead is go into the inn. Should I go? Yeah, let's go in the inn, because we're going to be done with this stream soon. And I'll show you a little bit about how the Glamour Dresser works. So this is the Glamour Dresser, so you can talk to it. Any inventory items that you have that are ready to be, like, basically clothing items, can be put into the Glamour Dresser, as long as they're fully repaired. You can also go click up here and say, like, main hand and offhand. Look, I can put all of these into the Glamour Dresser if I want to. They're all pretty blah looking, so I'm not going to bother. But one thing that I will put in there is this hempen camise, because that's a cute piece. If you try it on, that's what it looks like. It looks kind of good with this little skirt too. But we're going to buy some better things to put with it. So, possibly to put with other things. So these Mikote things are also at 100%, so I'm going to put that in. And I won't worry about the gloves because I don't really like the gloves that much. But the Mikote loincloth can go in. And the Mikote shoes. Now, other than that, I'm going to leave it there, but I'll show you how to make a glamour plate. So once again, I'm going to scale this up to 200 just so you can see it a little bit better. It's nice and big. And so this is a glamour plate. And so you notice you have 20 glamour plates, and you can put on all the gear in here. So I don't have any headpieces, but I might have some in my armoire because I got a bunch of stuff that's random. Yeah, I do. But none of this stuff I want to use, so... Oh, glamour plate. But anyways, I don't have anything. But I could use the hempen camise. Or I could use the Mikote top. I don't have any hands, but I do have this Mikote bottom, so I could make a glamour plate that's just this. And what it'll do is it'll overwrite the top and the bottom whenever I use it. See? Like so. I could also make it with this. I can mix and match them. So I can create outfits this way. But before we do that, I'm going to end the stream, and we're going to pick up the stream next time, and I will show you guys how to glamour. I will show you we're going to pick out some outfits for Kit, and we're going to glamour them. So for now, we'll call it for the stream. I'm going to pick it up tomorrow, same time, 3 p.m. Pacific time. And we'll pick up some glams and do some glamoring before we continue with our main quest. So Kit is going to look really cute. So that's exciting. So hopefully we'll see you guys again next time. Thanks for watching.